Yo, Zamwa, welcome to Zach Reacts, the channel where instead of making content of my own, I kind of just react to other people's content instead, you know what I'm saying? And today we're featuring a really good channel. He's called Veritasium. I've seen some of his videos before, the sciencey shit, and this is the video that spiked my interest here. Is success luck or hard work? Fuck my camera. Is success luck or hard work? I have an opinion on this already, and the opinion is the following, right? Before he tells you his opinion, I just want you to know what I think, and we'll see if it changes. As a person who's never seen success in pretty much anything aside from fucking video games, which are literally designed to make you successful so long as you persist hard enough, I do believe that hard work is very important. Okay? And, you know, as proof that I don't think that just because, you know, I felt that on my own, how about we check out my channel? See this shit? This video took me like 100 hours to make. This one took around as many. They have like 100 views each. And yet still, I still believe that it is my fault. And while it's not necessarily a problem with working hard, it is definitely a problem with how I worked. Okay, enough context. Let's just fucking start watching. Let's see what he has to say. Oh, and just to be clear, whenever he says something that I agree with, I'll call him really smart, and myself as well.
During the COVID lockdown, this headline went viral. Nearly half of men say they do most of the homeschooling. 3% of women agree. I bring this up not to debate who's right, but because it's a great example of something called egocentric bias. Most people think they do most of the work.
Yes, that is factually correct, or at least it does apply to me.
Researchers have asked authors of multi-author papers what percentage of the work they personally did. And when they add up those percentages, the sum is on average 140%.
Yeah.
When couples are asked to estimate how much of the housework they do, the combined total is almost always over 100%. Now, you might think this is because people want to appear more helpful than they actually are, but that's not it.
Okay, I like that.
What fraction of the fights they start or how much of the mess is theirs, the total is again over 100.
That is so cool, by the way, that they actually decided to test with shit like that, because yeah, people just, okay, very interesting. I already love this video. Holy shit, it is so good.
People think they do more
I was gonna like it, but I liked it before I even started watching, so.
But they also think they cause more of the problems. So why is this? I think it's simply because you experience and remember vividly all of what you do, but...
Yeah, exactly. I live with a guy. I live with my brother. I couldn't tell you what he did today, aside from like the general shit. But I can list you the whole fucking day I had today.
Of what everyone else does. So naturally, you overestimate your own contributions and underestimate others.
Exactly. Man, what great. What a smart guy. Wow.
I think this bias leads us to underestimate the influence of other things on our lives, like the role luck plays in our success. Take hockey players, for example. If you ask a professional hockey player how they managed to reach the NHL, they might mention their hard work, determination, great coaches, their parents' willingness to get up at 5 a.m. and so on, but they probably...
Interestingly enough, a lot of YouTubers I find actually bring luck up a lot, especially the guys that have been on the scene for a while. They're like, yeah, man, I'm really lucky to be in this position. I don't know why exactly. Maybe they're just trying to be nice to their audience, like, you know, bring themselves down to the level of the peasants. They just got lucky. We just like you for real. Trust me, bro. Or not. It's interesting. Maybe they have some fucking understanding of the system, or maybe they have deep-rooted fucking self-image issues, or what do you call that? Self-worth.
Probably won't acknowledge how lucky they were to be born in January. And yet, in many years, 40% of hockey players selected into top-tier leagues are born in the first quarter of the year, compared to just 10% in the fourth quarter.
That is wild.
An early birthday can make you up to 4 times as likely to be a pro hockey player. And the reason for this disparity is presumably because the cutoff
selection
date for
season,
kids' hockey leagues is January 1st. Those born in the first part of the year are...
Like, that's not a thing you think about. Like, it's a 3 a.m. thought that you might have, and after you have it, it's going to be stuck in your brain forever, but it's not something you just, like, that just crosses your mind randomly.
Older, and so on average bigger and faster than kids in their league born late in the year.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
This difference should eventually shrink to nothing, but it doesn't. Because the young kids who show the most promise are given more time on the ice and enter more tournaments where they receive
Yep,
better
and they're
coaching
given more
and improve their
care, and then
skills.
they suddenly
And these
become
advantages
exponentially
compound
better.
year after year. So by the time you
Compound,
get to
that's what I
pros,
meant, not exponentially.
birthdays are heavily skewed towards the start of the year. But does any professional hockey player feel thankful for their birthday? Probably not. And we
Except
are
for, like,
all
the
like
one-
that,
the one guy.
largely
You
oblivious
know, the
to the
one guy.
fortunate events that support our success. Probably the most significant bit of luck many of us enjoy is being born into a prosperous country.
Weirdly enough, this shit I actually think about a lot. Like, I'm like, God damn, I'm lucky to have internet and shit. Like, it's not something that I would ever go pander about to my fucking audience, you know. Kind of, it's like some people are like, guys, we're so lucky to be blessed with it. I hate that bullshit. But I do fucking it is shit that crosses my mind.
Around half the variance in income received by people around the world is explained by their country of residence and that country's income distribution.
Yeah.
If you were born in Burundi, for example, which has the world's lowest gross national income per capita of just $730 a year,
I'd also keep in mind. Okay, that's pretty bad. But I was gonna say also keep in mind, you know, cost of living is gonna be low in countries like that.
it doesn't matter how smart or hardworking you are, you're unlikely to earn much as an adult.
Yeah.
Now, many people get offended if you point out how big a role chance plays in their success. And I get it. If we are just a product of our circumstances, then our hard work and our talent seem to count for nothing.
All right, I've got a point for this one. Let's see if you guys agree. I think even the fact that you end up working hard in the first place is a product in and of itself of your circumstances, because that means you were brought up in a way that led to you wanting to work hard. And so that in no way devalues what you did. I think just because you got really lucky does not mean that any of the work you put in was worthless. I think these two are they're separate things, and they have to be going at the same time for it to work out.
People think it has to be
Usually,
either skill or luck that explains success. The truth is, you need both.
I think this guy's kind of smart.
Take these 8 track and field world records.
Oh shit,
All
we get
the
actual
athletes who
stats.
achieve these records are
This is so good. See, most channels would just bring up their point and end at that. This guy actually brings up a graph to show us. I love that.
obviously world class, extremely dedicated and talented, and yet when they achieved their world records, 7 out of 8 had a tailwind. Now these athletes all had the ability to win a gold medal, but to set the world record required a bit of luck as well.
But all the other people that set world records most likely had the tailwind as well. So it's like you're actually competing on fair grounds in this case. So I don't know if luck is even fair. It's more like, okay, so the luck part here is just doing it enough times until you get that run with the tailwind, and at the same time you also perform your like best in terms of, you know, getting the movement just right and shit. And again, that's both luck and effort. So I think he's definitely proven his point here well.
The importance of luck increases the greater the number of applicants applying for just a few spaces. Consider the most recent class of NASA astronauts. From over 18,300 applicants in 2017, only 11 were selected and went on to graduate from the astronaut training program. Now we can make a toy model of the selection process. Let's assume that astronauts are selected mostly based on skill, experience, and hard work, but also, say, 5% as a result of luck, fortunate circumstances. For each applicant, I randomly generated a skill score out of 100, and I also randomly generated a luck score out of 100. Then I added those numbers together, weighted in the 95-to-5 ratio to get an overall score. This score represents the selector's judgments, meaning the top 11 by this metric would become astronauts. And I repeated this simulation 1,000 times, representing 1,000 different astronaut selections. And what I found was the astronauts who were picked were very lucky. They had an average luck score of 94.7. So how many
And
of
at
these
the same
selected
time,
astronauts
I bet they all also had really good skill
would have
stats.
been in the top 11 based on skill alone?
All of them.
The
Most of
answer
them.
was on average only 1.6.
Whoa.
That means
Yo.
even with luck accounting for just 5% of the outcome, 9 or maybe 10 of the 11 applicants selected would have been different if luck played no role at all.
That is actually wild.
When competition is fierce, being talented and hardworking is important, but it's not enough to guarantee success. You also need to catch a break. Largely, I think we're unaware of our good luck because by definition, it's not something we did. Like the housework done by your significant...
That's why he brought it up at the start. Holy shit. Good writing and good fucking explanation. Oh my god, I'm about to hit the subscribe button. Oh.
In other...
You probably couldn't see that, right? I subscribed, look. Here. I had my camera.
goes unappreciated. And here's the crazy thing. Downplaying the importance of chance events may actually improve your probability of success. Because if you perceive...
Well, let's see if I get this right. All right, let's see if I understand this correctly. I think the reason behind it is because you gotta convince yourself that what you're doing is 100% your work. Otherwise, you're gonna be demotivated. Because you're gonna be like, yeah, it's all about luck. I'm just not a lucky person, really. So it's not. I'm not even gonna try to do anything. Whereas you need both.
Even outcome to be uncertain, you're less likely to invest effort in it, which further decreases your chances of success.
I fucking hate how this guy says exactly what I'm thinking, but 10 times more concise and better. Like, it made me sound stupid here. Even though I had a very similar point, I just can't word it the smart way.
So it's a useful delusion to believe you are in full control of your destiny. I mean, if I had known how bad I was...
If delusions were completely pointless to have, they wouldn't be a mechanic we have. I think, at least. That's how I see it.
Or how much work it would take, I might have given up right then.
Welcome to Veritasium, an online science video blog.
Now, there may be another benefit to overlooking your lucky breaks, which is it makes...
This makes me want to show my first video. We'll do it some other time. I don't feel like embarrassing myself right now. We'll do it some other time.
It's easier to justify your place in society. If you have a lot of wealth or power, you can just chalk it up to your own intelligence, effort, and perseverance. It makes it easier to accept inequality. In one experiment...
I think it's also not necessarily bad to just attribute shit to yourself. Because like, if it makes you feel better, why not? You're living... feeling better about yourself will make you live a better life, so...
Participants were put in groups of 3 in small rooms to discuss...
Okay, no, there are reasons when it's not good. For example, if you're trying to give someone advice and you're just like, you're just going to work harder. I did that all myself. Then it's just going to make the other person feel salty unless they're of the same mindset, I think.
Complex moral problem. And one person in each group was randomly designated the team leader. Half an hour later, the experimenter came by with 4 cookies for each team. So who got the extra cookie? In each case, it went to the team leader. Even though they had no special aptitude, they didn't have extra responsibilities, and they'd gotten their position through chance alone. Once you have achieved a certain status, it seems natural to feel like you deserve it, and all the other good things that come your way. Now, this is just an anecdote, but whenever I've been upgraded to fly business class, I've always observed the worst behavior in my fellow privileged passengers. They just act so entitled and uncourteous. And research has found evidence for this as well. In another experiment...
That makes sense. I mean, it's a thing you commonly see depicted, you know, the rich nerds that got everything for free acting like losers. That's like the most common thing that gets depicted in anime. Actually, yeah, that's such a common anime trope where it's like a rich guy, a rich kid that achieved nothing, and then the protagonist who worked from the dirt up all on his own will come and whip his ass, and everyone's gonna clap, and everyone clapped. You know, it's a Reddit moment.
Participants were asked to think of a good thing that happened to them recently. And then one group was asked to list their own personal qualities or actions that made that good thing happen. Another group was asked to list external factors beyond their control that led to the event. And a control group was simply asked to...
The guys in the middle will have listed less things, I think.
...list reasons why the good thing happened. Now, for completing this task, participants were told they would be paid $1. But at the end, they were offered the option to donate some or all of the money to a charity. Results showed those who listed their own personal attributes contributed 25% less.
All right, it's a different study than I expected. Never mind.
Than those who listed external factors beyond their control. Now, think
all
of
right, but what's the
this
sample
means
size?
for
Because I feel like this kind of study might just be random. It's hard to say. Unless they tested it with like 10 million people, in which case I have no idea.
Now, think of what all this means for people in our society.
But yeah, if the test was good, then I 100% see this like being very
specifically
logical.
for people in positions of power, like
Especially with the
business
info he's given
leaders
us
and
already.
politicians. Now, undoubtedly, most of them are talented and hardworking, but they have also been luckier than most. And like most of us, they don't realize just how lucky they are. And this gives them a distorted view of reality. They're kind of living in a form of survivor bias. All these leaders have worked hard and ultimately succeeded, so to them the world appears fair. In their experience, it rewards hard work. But what they don't have is the experience of all the people who have worked hard and failed. So what are they to make of people less successful than themselves? Well, the natural conclusion is that they must just be less talented or less hardworking.
And that's the pitfall. It's the pitfall people fall into. What you gotta do is somewhere in between. You understand that you did good, but at the same time you don't fucking assume that it's all thanks to you.
And this perspective
Otherwise, others are you're just gonna become that guy that fucking thinks he's better than everyone, and nobody wants to be around, and then you have no
makes
friends, and
them
you're a
less
fucking
inclined to be
loser.
generous, to give back. And they are the ones who
What
set
a
the
little hard.
rules for how society operates. And this is particularly unfortunate since one of the main ways many of us are lucky is in our country of residence. But what is a country except for the things put there by people who came before? The
Yep,
roads and the
yep.
schools, public transport, emergency
Said a lot
services.
of could be said about a lot of shit. Your parents, the way they decided to fucking bring you up, it's not like you control that shit. I mean, yeah, even your behavior when you're just born is up to luck. Like, you might randomly be born as a shitty child, and then you'll be harder to raise. You know, like, what if you? It is what it is.
This is clean air and water, everything like
But
that.
I don't think thinking about this too hard is good. Because then
seems-
you're suddenly gonna end up with, what do you call it? Among Us syndrome.
A cruel trick of our psychology that successful people without any malice will credit their success largely to their own hard work and ingenuity, and therefore contribute less to maintaining the very circumstances that made that success possible in the first place. The good news is that acknowledging our fortunate circumstances not only brings us more in line with reality, it also makes us more likable. In a study where people had to read the transcript of a fictional 60 Minutes interview with a
Yeah. You read about sad stories, and then suddenly everyone loves the person who's in a sad circumstance.
biotech
On average, but then again, at the same time, I'm tired of this bullshit where people, I'm sure a lot of you are. It's these stories of people that became sick out of nothing. They started working in their garage. We're talking about, the richest men alive, and they used to just work from nothing. Like, yeah, that sounds cool and all, but it doesn't make me like it anymore. In fact,
experimenters
I don't give a shit, but I get that on average it
tried
works.
changing just the last paragraph where the interviewee is talking about the reasons for their company's success. In one version, the entrepreneur personally takes credit for the success they've had, but in the other, he says luck played a significant role. Now, people who read the luck version of the transcript judged the entrepreneur as kinder and thought they'd be more likely to be close friends with him than
See, that's interesting, because for me, it would actually piss me off, because you see this guy who did a bunch of work, and he's like, yeah, I just got really lucky, guys. I don't know, that makes me mad for some reason. Interesting.
those who read the other version of the transcript. And raising our awareness of
Because
fortunate events.
I think the reason is simple. Is because I'm tired of people downplaying their shit to be more attuned with the peasants, so to speak. It's what all the fucking big YouTubers, it's what the companies do on Twitter nowadays. It's what you're supposed to do, and it made me hate that type of that style of speech. Now this video is it's only 2 years old, so it's still relevant. Interesting. I guess maybe the problem is that not everyone is as terminally online as I am, and for that reason they haven't been that fucking, they haven't had the time to get that annoyed of all of this shit. And also,
Events
I
can
mean,
also
some
make
people
us
literally just
happier
don't analyze what's going on.
because it allows us to feel
Not okay. Now I sound like a fucking and rotate enjoyer and rotate with a space bar. Okay. Anyways, no, I don't mean like majors and all that. No. I literally mean some people just actually just don't think about shit for too long. Oh my fucking god! Now I have to.
Personally,
I don't even want to explain myself. You know what? I don't care. If you think I'm stupid, if you think I'm an and rotator, then
Michael
go for
Stevens
it.
of Vsauce,
I'm not.
who on
I'm not,
October
though.
7th, 2012, posted the video "How Much Does a Shadow Weigh?" which shouts out my slow motion slinky drop video. And within 3 days, my subscribers had increased by 1/3, and within a month,
That
they
is
had doubled,
sick.
leading me to quit my part-time job and work
Sick for you, bro.
exclusively on
Actually
YouTube
great for you.
videos. And I'm grateful to the writer of the free newspaper they give out.
And like, yeah, lucky that he made a video on it. At the same time, if he hadn't made that video, wouldn't have happened. And guess what made you make that video? Fucking hard work.
Out on the trains in Sydney who didn't quite understand electricity.
So I don't know if you don't get my emotes, like the tongue shit. I just think, think of me as a goofy cartoon character that just does emotes instead of real life, expressing real life emotions. And I have like this wheel, and I'm like, okay, this is a good time to do the emote.
Leading me to post this picture of their article to my Instagram with the caption, "What's wrong with this picture?" And I'm lucky that the first person to answer correctly was a beautiful woman who became my future wife.
Yep.
Holy
That is how I met
shit.
your mother.
Through Twitter. That is actually wild.
I wanted to make this video just
Good
to
for you,
say
man.
our
For
circumstances
him.
and psychology
Sorry, I'm
conspire
becoming a
to
little too parasocial as if I'm speaking to the fucking person himself. Careful with that.
make us oblivious to our own luck. And this leads successful people to view the world as fair and those less successful than them as less talented or less hardworking. And this is before you factor in any discrimination or prejudice. But it also became apparent to me that I should talk about what to do if you want to be successful in such a world. And I think the best advice is paradoxical. First, you must believe that you are in complete control of your destiny and that your success comes down only
Yeah.
to your own talent
Yeah.
and hard work.
100%.
But second, you've got to know that's not true for you or anyone else. So you have to remember, if you do achieve
So that
success,
you don't be a piece of
luck
shit.
played a significant role, and given your good fortune,
Pretend you're in complete control, but don't become a piece of shit.
you should do what you can to increase the luck of others.
Fucking sick video.
Hey, so I had an idea for what I could do to increase the luck of others, and that is to give away 100 Snadams kits to people.
This is old. He would have already finished the giveaway, so I'm not touching any of the product placement because it's really old. And so therefore, I don't know if it's still active, and I don't want to be giving money to a company that won't benefit the creator. Because at the end of the day, the only reason we watch other people's ad reads is to get their money, not the company that they're sponsoring, that they're being sponsored by. Okay, let's read some comments real quick before I go on. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Yep, that's basically a little quote sort of way to rephrase what he said. I mean, yeah, I think these comments are pretty simple. They're literally just quoting what the video has to say. It's paraphrasing. I think really everyone who watched this video is pretty much on the same page. I'm not gonna go to new because there's gonna be a bunch of mentally deranged people that have no idea what they're talking about, and I'm not into that. So guys, go sub to his channel. Go give the video a watch. It was a great video. Round of applause to Veritasium because I had no idea I was gonna enjoy this as much as I did. Also, fucking really. The video really fucking stroked my dick here because I had the exact same thoughts as the guy, and so that made me enjoy it more. It is what it is. That's just how that's just how the brain works, right? Anyways, think that's it, guys. Now don't forget to go to my main channel where I make really good videos, but only a couple times a year. And my last video I made was me drinking a liter of milk with a fork. It's actually 1.75 liters with a fucking fork. That's so much milk. If it sounds crazy, it is. Go watch it. And that's about it. See ya next time. Hey, yeah.